This is the lesson for 7-2, day 3. Is the point a solution? What we're doing today is that we are determining if a point is a solution to a system of inequalities. Before we get working on these systems, we're just going to check just single inequalities because the only difference between a system and a single inequality is that there's two inequalities instead of one. So remember that all points are written x comma y. So when we take a look at a point, 1 is our x value and 5 is our y value. 3 is our x value, 5 is our y value. So what you're going to do today is that you're going to take and you're going to sub in your x value and your y value at the same time and determine if the solution makes the inequality statement true. So I'm going to go up to the board because it's a little bit easier. Um, so when we take a look at this first one, we have the point 1 comma 5. What we need to do is basically like we're checking our answer. We're going to take and sub in the 1 in for the x. So instead of saying 3 times x, we have 3 times 1 plus 4. And we're going to sub in the y value at the same time. So we're going to sub in our 5 over here for the y. Bring down your inequality sign. Now what you're going to do is you're going to solve both sides of the inequality sign. This side is just going to stay 5. It's very, very important to bring things straight down. On this side, we have 3 times 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 4 is 7. Is this inequality statement true? 5 is less than 7. Yes, that inequality statement is true. So what you're going to write is yes. Now, what does that yes really mean? That yes really means if we went and graphed it, if we went and graphed this equation, this point 1 comma 5 would be in the shaded area. It would be a possible solution. So that's what you're going to put. You're just going to put yes or no. All right. Here you're going to put yes because 5 is less than 7. Well, let's see what a no would look like. So again, you're going to take your x value, you're going to take your y value, sub them in at the same time for x and y. So instead of 2 times x, we have 2 times 3. Instead of plus y, we have plus 5 is less than 7. So on this left-hand side of the inequality, we have 2 times 3. 2 times 3 is 6. Plus 5 is 11. Then we have our inequality sign. We're just going to bring down our 7. Now we're going to see other questions that have work to be done on the right-hand side as well, on both sides at the same time. Is 11 less than 7? No, 11 is bigger than 7. So what you're going to write is no for this one because that inequality statement is not true. 11 is not less than 7. So what does that answer really mean? Well, if we went and graphed that inequality, this point 3 comma 5 would not be in the shaded area. That's what it means. So let's do a couple more and I'll have you try some on your own. This is one type of question for today. So this next one says x plus y is greater than 1. So we're subbing in 3, 4. 3 is your x, 4 is your y. So instead of x plus y, I have 3 plus 4 is greater than 1. Well, 3 plus 4 is 7. Is 7 greater than 1? Yes, it is. So you're going to write the word yes. And again, what that means is if we graphed this inequality, this point would be in the shaded area. Go ahead and try these next two on your own. Go ahead and try both of these next two on your own, please. Sub in your x, sub in your y, and see if your inequality statement is true. If it's true, then you're going to write yes. If it's not, then you're going to write no. Go ahead and try these two questions on your own, please. Sub in your x and your y at the same time. Give it about 20 more seconds or so. So again, all points are written x comma y. So -1 is your x and 3 is your y. So instead of -2 times x, I have -2 times -1 plus 4 is less than. Now, on this time, we have letters on both sides of the equal sign. We have -5 times y, or times 3 when we go to sub it in. So on this left-hand side, I have -2 times -1. That's +2. 2 plus 4 is 6 for that side of the inequality. On the right-hand side, I have -5 times 3. -5 times 3 is -15. Is 6 less than -15? No, it's not. So our answer for this one would be no. If we want to graph this inequality, it would not be in the shaded area. Let's take a look at the second one that you had to do. -3 is your x and -4 is your y. We're going to take both of those and sub it in at the same time. Be very careful. Sometimes they try and trick you. A lot of times you have your x first and then your y, but in this one, your y is first in your inequality and then your x. Make sure that you're subbing the right number in the right spot. So we have 2 times -4 minus -3 is less than or equal to 6. So 2 times -4. 2 times -4 is -8 minus -3. Now you could type that right into the calculator if you wanted to, but if you're doing it by hand, think back to 6th and 7th grade. Minus a negative is really plus a positive. So -8 plus 3 is -5. Is -5 less than or equal to 6? Yes, it is. So your answer here would be yes. If we graph this inequality, -3, -4 would be in the shaded area. Be very careful. One little side note. Let's say that we solved this and we got 6 is less than or equal to 6. Do you think this would be a yes, or do you think this would be a no? Well, because of the or equal to, I know it looks weird, but because of the or equal to, this would be a yes, because it says 6 is less than or equal to 6. So that type of statement would be a yes. This type of statement, 6 is less than 6, without the or equal to, that would be a no. So just be aware of things like that. So that was subbing it into a single inequality. What we're going to do now is sub it into a system of inequalities. So we have our two inequalities. We have x plus y is greater than 1, and we have -x plus y is less than or equal to 3. So let's say that we went and graphed them. All right, this is our graph. You see your dotted line for that top equation, and we're shading above. You see the solid line for the second equation, we're shading below, and it gives you this double shaded area right in here. All right, it gives you this double shaded area in the green there. That is our answers. All right, those are our solutions. So those are going to be the ones that we get yeses for. But now watch what happens. All right, when you have a system, it doesn't only have to check in one equation or inequality, it has to check in both equations to be a solution, because it has to be in the double shaded area. So that means it has to be a yes. That point has to be a yes for both inequalities, both of the equations. So when I take a look at -8, 2, this is my x, this is my y. When I go to sub it into that top equation, so I have x plus y is greater than 1, but I also have -x plus y is less than or equal to 3. I need to sub it into both equations. So I'm going to take and I'm going to go -8 plus 2 is greater than 1. -8 plus 2 is -6. So I have negative 6 is greater than 1. Is that true? No, it's not. On the other one, I have negative of negative 8. Now, this is a little bit confusing for some people right here. I'm subbing in negative 8 into negative x. So I have the negative of negative 8. A double negative is a positive, right? Minus a negative plus a positive. So this is really just a positive 8 here, minus a negative 8. Plus 2 is less than or equal to 3. So I have plus 2 is less than or equal to 3. I have 10 is less than or equal to 3. Well, 10 is not less than or equal to 3. This is a no. Now, let's take a look at where that point is on our graph. Negative 8, 2. Over to negative 8, up to positive 2 is right here. Notice that this point, negative 8, 2, is not in either one of the shaded areas, which makes sense with our double no's here. Anytime that it's a double no, it is in the non-shaded area for both equations. Our final answer here, is this a solution? No, it is not. It is only a solution when you have two yeses. All right, this has to be a yes, and this other point has to be a yes. That's when it is a solution. So let's take a look at 2, 8. Now, 2, 8, I'm going to cheat and I'm going to look at my graph first. Over to 2, up to 8. So looking at this blue point, now the blue point is in the shaded area for one equation, but it's not in the shaded area for the other equation. So is it a solution? No, it's not. Well, what's going to happen when I go to sub it in is that I'm going to have one yes because it's in one of the shaded areas, but I'm going to get one no because it's not in the other shaded area. So let's go and sub in a 2 and an 8. So into that first equation, I would have 2 plus 8 is greater than 1. 2 plus 8 is 10. 10 is greater than 1. So that one is a yes. But when I go to sub it into the other one, I have negative 2 plus 8 is less than or equal to 3. This would be 6 is less than or equal to 3. That is a no. So if I had one yes and one no, my final answer is no. It is not a solution. Again, it's not a solution because it's not in the double shaded area. Let's take a look at the next one. The next one says 8, 2. So I'm going to cheat and I'm going to go to my graph first. Over to 8, up to 2. When you take a look at this purple point, notice that this purple point is in the double shaded area. That means that both of them are going to be yeses because this is going to be a solution. So when I go to sub it into both equations, I would have 8 plus 2 is greater than 1. 8 plus 2 is 10. 10 is greater than 1. That would be a yes. In the second equation, I would have negative 8 plus 2 is less than or equal to 3. This would be negative 6 is less than or equal to 3. That is a true statement. Notice that both of them are yeses. That means both of them are in the shaded areas. Our final answer to this one is yes, because it checked in both of them. Let's take a look at this other one. In this other one, we have negative 2, negative 8. Over to negative 2, down to negative 8. Notice that this orange point is not in the double shaded area. It's only in one of the shaded areas. Since it's only in one of the shaded areas, it's only going to check in one point. So when we go to look at it, this is my x, this is my y. I'm going to sub it into my first equation. I'm going to have negative 2 plus negative 8 is greater than 1. That would be negative 10 is greater than 1. That is not true. In my second equation, I would have the negative of negative 2. Now remember, the negative of a negative is a positive, so that's really positive 2. Plus negative 8 is less than or equal to 3. So plus -8 is less than or equal to 3. 2 plus -8 is -6. Is -6 less than or equal to 3? Yes, it is. So I have one no, I have one yes. That makes our final answer a no, because it has to check, like this purple one, for both equations for your final answer to be a yes. Now, sometimes on the Regents exam, they love this question. All right, they love this question on the Regents exam. Normally, they give you multiple choice type questions, all right, for this type of topic. It says, which is the solution to the inequality? Well, the only way to do this is to take your points individually and sub them in and see which one works. So basically, you just have to pick one and try it. All right, it's a lot of trial and error. So if I pick A and I go to sub in A, this is my X, this is my Y. I would have 3 is greater than -2 times 1 plus 6. -2 times 1 is -2, plus 6 is 4. Is 3 greater than 4? No, it's not. So therefore, this one is not a correct answer. I would try the next one. I would try the next one. I'm going to tell you that D ends up being the correct answer. If we try D, we would have -2 is greater than -2 times 5 plus 6. -2 times 5 is -10, plus 6 is -4. Is -2 greater than -4? Yes, it is. Therefore, this one would be the correct answer, because that is your yes. B would not check, and C would not check.